Imagine discovering your husband's betrayal in the most unexpected way and ending up face to face with the mistress in a situation that feels straight out of a movie script. This is a true story from one of our followers who decided to share with us an experience that completely changed her life. I'm going to tell you all the details of this story that will literally take your breath away. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share this video so we can bring more real stories like this. Now, I'll let her tell you exactly what happened.
Guys, I've always believed that when the truth needs to come to light, it always finds a way. I've always felt like the universe conspires for us to discover things at the right time. But after what happened to me, I became absolutely sure that it's true. Look, I had a very set routine in my life. Every Saturday was my sacred day to get my nails done, because it was the only day off I had from work. It was my moment to relax, to take care of myself, you know? I always went to the same salon, with the same manicurist. It was practically a ritual. But on one specific week, I had a lot of overtime piled up at my job, and HR asked me to take a few days off. So I took Thursday and Friday off, along with my usual Saturday. Then I thought, why not get my nails done on Thursday instead? That way I'd be free on Saturday to do other things. That simple change in routine is what ended up changing my life forever. I arrived at the salon on Thursday, very relaxed, with no idea of what was about to happen. I sat in my usual chair and started getting my nails done. The atmosphere was calm and pleasant, just like always. That cozy salon vibe. A few minutes later, another client came in for a manicure with the other nail tech. She sat right next to me, and naturally we started chatting, as often happens in salons. You know how it is. Beauty salons are a place for talking, gossip, venting. The conversation evolved and turned to relationships. Each of us started talking about our husbands, boyfriends, sharing stories. I talked a bit about my marriage, and she talked about her relationship. Everything was normal, the typical chit-chat women have at the salon. Then, at a certain point, this client next to me got super excited and told her manicurist she wanted to show something very special. She pulled out her phone and started showing photos of a gorgeous bouquet of flowers she had gotten from her boyfriend. She was glowing, smiling from ear to ear, clearly in love. Her manicurist complimented the bouquet, said it was beautiful, and then the client got even more excited and said she wanted to show a photo of her with her boyfriend. She scrolled through her phone and showed the picture to the manicurist, and it was at that exact moment that my world turned upside down. Her manicurist looked at the photo, then looked at me, then back at the photo, and I noticed a very strange expression on her face. She clearly couldn't hide what she was thinking. Then she said a sentence that chilled me to the core. "Isn't that your husband?" I was completely lost. I didn't understand what was happening. I asked her what she was talking about. What husband? What was going on? I was genuinely confused. The manicurist then asked the client to show me the photo. The client, who was also confused, showed it to me, thinking it was just curiosity. And when I looked at that screen, guys, I felt the ground disappear beneath my feet. It was my husband. It was definitely him, smiling next to that woman in a clearly romantic couple-style photo. But what shocked me the most in that moment was realizing that the woman truly had no idea. You could see it in her face, in her reaction. She had no clue he was married. She looked as lost as I felt. When she saw my reaction, she asked if I knew him. I told her yes, that he was my husband. This woman nearly fainted right there. She started feeling sick, turned pale, started shaking her head saying no, that it couldn't be, that she was absolutely certain he was single. She went into complete denial, said it couldn't be true, that he told her he was single, that she would never get involved with a married man. And I believed her, because her reaction was way too genuine to be fake. Then I started asking questions. I needed to know everything. I asked how long they'd been together, how they met, where they would see each other, everything. And she answered honestly, hiding nothing. She said they met a few months ago, that he always said he was single, that they always met at her place because he claimed to live with his strict mother. She was devastated. She cried and repeated over and over that she would never have been with him if she had known he was married, that she would never do something like that. And I believed her. Her pain was too real. Then she had an idea. She said, To prove to you that I'm telling the truth, that I really didn't know anything, we actually planned to meet tonight at my house. He's coming over. If you want, you can be there too and confront him. And here's the twist of fate. The very day they were supposed to meet, I had an event scheduled that I had committed to for a long time. My husband knew about it, which is probably why he felt comfortable planning his little date, but I didn't even think twice. I canceled my plans and decided to go to her house to wait for the guy to show up. I needed to see the look on his face when he saw me there. We agreed that I would arrive a bit earlier, and when he came, she would hide in the bedroom so I could confront him alone first. She agreed to everything. She wanted answers too, and that's exactly what we did. I arrived at her house about 2 hours before the scheduled time. She welcomed me in, nervous but determined to get the truth. We talked a bit, and she told me more details about their relationship. The more she spoke, the more I realized how completely he had deceived her. When the time came, she ran to the bedroom and locked herself in. I stayed in the living room, sitting on the couch, waiting. My heart was pounding, but I was determined to face him. When the doorbell rang, I got up and opened the door. Guys, the look on his face when he saw me there was priceless. He turned ghost white, completely speechless, like he had just seen a ghost. He stood there frozen, blinking repeatedly, trying to figure out if it was real or a nightmare. It took him a good few seconds to say anything. When he finally spoke, he asked what I was doing there, and I shot back. "What are you doing here?" At that moment, the woman came out of the bedroom. She had heard the conversation and couldn't stay hidden any longer. She ran into the room crying and started hitting his chest, asking why he did that to her, saying she didn't deserve to be lied to like that. And you know what's most shocking? In that moment, the situation, which should have been about me and him, became about the two of them. She was angrier than I was, because she felt totally betrayed and used. Then I started saying everything I had to say. I told him he didn't even need to come back home, because he didn't have a home anymore. I told him our marriage was over right then and there. After that, I left. I got home, packed up all his things into some bags, and took them to his godmother's house. Left everything there. I didn't want to see his face ever again. From that day on, we were officially separated. He tried reaching out a few times, called, sent messages, but I didn't want to talk. There was nothing left to say. Everything that needed to be discovered had been discovered. Everything that needed to be said had been said. And of course, the story spread fast. A lot of people heard about it because it was such an unusual situation. Everyone was talking about how bizarre it was to discover a betrayal that way. I never saw that woman again, because we didn't exchange phone numbers or anything. Everything happened so fast and intensely, and I didn't go back to that salon right away either, because I was still processing it all. But 2 weeks later, I decided to return and get my nails done again. After all, life had to go on, right? And when I got there, everyone at the salon wanted to know how things turned out since I had disappeared after that day. So I told them everything, all the details about the separation, how I dropped his stuff off, how he tried to reach out and I shut him out. And that's when the other manicurist, who had witnessed everything that day, gave me a piece of information that left me completely shaken. She told me they were living together. That's right, you heard it. The mistress had invited him to move in with her, and according to what the manicurist had heard, he told her that he didn't love me, that she was the one he truly loved, and that he was actually relieved I had found out, because now they could be together without hiding. Guys, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The woman who had cried in front of me, who said she would never be with a married man, who seemed so innocent and just as betrayed as I was, had fallen for his lies and let him move in with her. At that moment, I realized everything I had done, all the confrontation, all the drama, was for absolutely nothing. If I had known this would happen, that she'd end up staying with him, I would have ended things in a much more private, simple way. But, oh well, at least I found out they're both just as untrustworthy. She turned out to be a completely different person than she had seemed at the salon and in her home. And him, well, he only confirmed exactly who I had discovered him to be. To this day, I haven't seen either of them again. And honestly, I hope I never do, because if I ran into them now, knowing everything I know, I don't know if I could keep my cool. Before, I even defended her, told people she didn't know, that she was just as much a victim as I was. But now I know she's just as shameless as he is. And that's it, guys. That was my story. A discovery that completely changed my life and made me realize that sometimes people aren't who they seem, and that the truth always finds a way to come out, even if it's in the most unexpected way.
What an incredible story, right? Sometimes life surprises us in ways we can't even imagine. Huge thanks to our follower for having the courage to share such a personal experience with us. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and share it with your friends. And tell us in the comments, have you ever gone through a similar situation? Or do you know someone who found out about a betrayal in an unexpected way? We want to hear your thoughts. See you in the next video.